Hello everybody and welcome into my latest live video. My name is Kerry Holzman and this is
Mitch Morrison, back again.
Mitch the Man Morrison joining us today. This is Veterans Day, November 11th, 2020. Sorry if it's just a little spit. I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
Just get some antibacterial. Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week, plowing through here, trying to, get to Friday. That's short-term goals.
Yep. There you go.
How you been?
Yeah. Oh, if I was any happier, I couldn't stand myself.
Sounds like you're right on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We got an interesting show for you today. But this is my daily driver.
Your daily driver.
This is my main computer. And Kerry and I built this back for my birthday back in March of 2019. And,
boy, I remember it like it was just
yeah. And I really like it.
I don't remember.
But I've had some issues over the last couple of months where the fans, when I go to a website, it's like the fans spin up, and then I get to the website and they get down. So it's like somebody's pressing on a
accelerator.
Yeah, that's an accelerator.
And they're ramping up and down,
and down, and it's a bit annoying. Now it's not. Most people wouldn't even say, "Well, this isn't loud at all," but it bothers me because I can hear it. And for an old man to hear that good is pretty good. But
what?
But you say so? Uncle Kerry said, "Well, bring it over and let's see." This is a Corsair 450D, where I've got two fans up here. Can they see it? Yeah, I'll show you.
Corsair Obsidian 450D computer case.
Yeah, and
you replaced the stock fans
with two. What is it?
Magnetic levitation fans that have no bearings.
And then
we did that on the original build. This isn't something that was done after, right? That's in the build.
That was in the build. And then we have.
So it's not like it was. So just to be clear, when we built it, it was whisper quiet.
That I
remember.
You
haven't changed it. Well, we did add a video. We put your old 770 back
in there, but that was a week ago, and that may be the issue. I don't know. I mean, I assume that
we've got to figure out which fans.
Right. And then we've got a rear exhaust fan that's RGB.
They're not all the same?
No.
Oh no, these are 140 millimeter in the front, and that's a 120
in the back.
Okay.
And it's just a little noisy. I admit, much to Kerry's disappointment, I have not updated the BIOS since we built this.
Well, if there even there may not even be.
If there even is.
We used what did we use on this? An Asus. I think it was a Z370A. Like an Asus Prime
on this. So I thought, he said, bring it over. Let's take a look. I think the fans are still good since it's only coming up here on a 2-year-old build here.
Yeah, it's not even 2 years old.
And I said, let's see what we can do. And hopefully I don't have to swap out the fans. I wouldn't think so because I paid. These are very, for fan prices, these are very expensive fans that I put in there deliberately because I thought they would be quiet and they wouldn't go, they wouldn't go out. So, yeah, so that's our issue. We'll see if we can solve it and I can get my main computer back home and quiet.
If I stand closer to the camera, we look more like we're the same height. This brings up a very interesting point about computer maintenance. A lot of customers, a lot of end users, they treat their computer like it's a toaster or an appliance. You have to understand that the internet is constantly evolving at a very rapid pace. Just yesterday, Microsoft released their Patch Tuesday updates. Over 120 fixes were released. It's a pretty big cumulative update for Windows 20 H2, and it's important. There's some critical flaws that are patched, and it's every month. It's always important. So if you see those updates, you don't have to stop what you're doing to install them, but you should not postpone them, and you should not worry about somebody saying an update caused a problem. That's their problem, not yours. You should always get the updates when it's conveniently available for you to do so. In other words, you're done with your computer for the day, then just let it do the updates. That's my advice. Take it or leave it. But what happens when we ignore computer maintenance, it can result in a number of different things. Whether it's a BIOS update that can resolve security issues, it can even improve performance, chipset drivers. There's also the issue of dust buildup. Now, in some areas, depending on where you live, you may not have a big issue with dust. We live in a big dust bowl. We live in the desert, and dust is everywhere all the time. So how many times have you opened this up and blown the dust out of it?
Like a good doobie, I'm in a habit where I do it every January and June.
So twice a year.
Twice a year.
I would recommend a minimum of once a year. Twice a year is optimal if you're in a very dusty area. And I don't care if you've got negative or positive air pressure. That really doesn't mean that you're exempt from having to do computer maintenance. Do you blow out the back of the power supply as well? Because that's its own enclosed.
I do.
Like you can blow out the computer all day, but if your power supply still has dust caked on it,
right,
it's going to run hot.
Yeah,
and
I actually unplug everything, lift it off the floor onto a table, go through it from top to bottom.
Oh, very thorough.
Yeah.
I got a few over here you can take home with you.
Oh.
So here, so if I understand the symptom correctly, and I've even personally experienced what you told me about, which is you bring up your browser, Google Chrome, whatever, and then you go to bring up a video, and all of a sudden the fans, they go, and everything's fine. And then all of a sudden you click on something, and it's just something you don't think is that big of a deal. You're not rendering out any AutoCAD drawings or video editing.
Video editing.
You're just browsing, and then while you're browsing, you click on something, and then you hear the fans, and then they, just for a few seconds, and they go, and then they calm back down. So the first question is, which fan is it? And it's very easy to forget how many fans you've got, because Mitch will say, well, I've got the 3 fans and the CPU fan. I go, what about your power supply? Oh yeah, there's one there. And what about your video card? Okay, there's 2 more there. All right, so how many are we up to now? 6? So any one of those fans.
Okay, I'm trying to add up how many fans, but I ran out of fingers.
I think it's 7. I think there's 7.
Okay.
3 case fans and a CPU fan is 4. 2 GPU fans is 6. And 1 on the power supply is 7.
Okay.
And Mitch is the president of his fan. Of his fan club.
Yeah. And it's a little noisy.
He's been clubbing his fans for years now.
Yeah. So,
but
let's get to the bottom of it.
Apart from clubbing, we have to figure out which fan it is. Is it the CPU fan? Is it the case, one of the case fans, or is it the GPU fan? Is it the power supply? So what we have to do is we always have to have the customer replicate the problem for us. Show me, demonstrate for the technician, make it happen. Now, if it's intermittent and you can't make it happen, the same goes with seeing a doctor or a mechanic. They're going to be very difficult to help you. Luckily for us, this should be a very easy to replicate problem, as Mitch has described it. I want to pull the side panel off so we can fully hear it.
Do I need to hold your Coke? You can do that one-handed? Yeah.
There's a lot of things I can do one-handed, except clap my hands.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what. You can go ahead and turn the machine on right now.
Flip the power switch on.
Oh yeah, I gotta hit the power switch. We've got the HDMI cable coming out here and going into the little streamer here. We've got power, you got the keyboard and mouse.
Are you ready? You ready?
Yeah, fire it up.
Hit it.
And then while you're doing that, I'm gonna just take this and set it. How about we don't break this one?
Okay.
Now, it's very quiet. I wonder if they can hear it if I put it right up against the fan.
Oh, we haven't gone to your website yet.
What kind of websites are you going to, Mitch? Wait, you better not answer that. We claim the 5th.
YouTube.
You scoundrel. Hope you're using a VPN.
What's that? All right, so, but we'll get to the bottom.
Vaccinated for that.
We'll get to the bottom of it, and there's some steps that Carrie's going to take. And
well, the first thing is I want you to show me the problem. So we're gonna go to camera input 2, which should be,
And bring up my desktop?
bring up your desktop, which says no signal. Oh, you know what? I might have the wrong input selected. Bear with me here for a minute, folks, as I...
The fans are going to see my desktop? Doink! Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right, there's Mitch's desktop.
So bring up Chrome. It's...
Let's do this. Let's put us on there too. I gotta think about how I have to do this. I think I have to put this one down here. Put that one up here, and then we can put us.
I feel so exposed, Carrie. They can see my desktop. Doink! Okay.
Yeah, soon we're all gonna know how boring you are.
Right. Okay. Sound effect. So we'll put us over there,
Okay.
and then how do we bring up Google Chrome?
Oh, it is kind of hard for us to see this, so let me make it so as old eyes can see this. For the viewers, it's going to look the same, but for us, it's going to look a lot clearer.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Now, if you want to just use your mouse there, and just like you're at home,
Okay.
show me.
How do I turn it on?
It's already on. I already turned it on.
Oh, that one.
There's two.
Yeah, I'm looking at the other one.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, we have to give it internet access. You see?
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Have you tried plugging
What
it
reference is that from, gang? All right. So.
All right. I have the cable of ether.
Of ether. Okay. Click.
Ooh, the lights blinked. That was weird. It's not even, the other end of the cable's not even plugged into anything. I haven't even plugged it into the router yet.
They can't see you. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, they can.
Yeah, they can see me in the corner.
Okay.
You can't see me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now if I can just plug it in. There it goes. Okay.
Now what do I do?
I
hit
just give it a
refresh.
minute
Yeah.
to get an IP address.
Ooh. Okay.
You can click no on that.
Click no on that. Okay.
And then close the browser and open it again. It's fine. I'm going to come around here so I can listen.
And should I just like go to a site and see if it ramps up, or I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not. There you go.
Can't type today.
I can hear a little bit. Keep going.
Keep going. Mitch's favorite band, Toto, as people know. YouTube? I don't know.
Yeah, go to YouTube. Click on one of my videos so I can give myself a copyright notification.
Okay. I can't go to live because then we get.
I don't know what'll happen. Go to live. Let's see what happens.
Are you sure?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. We'll get very echoey here, guys and gals.
I don't think
Here
it
we go.
will. We can cut the audio on it. Just hit the audio button down on the bottom corner.
Hit the
the
audio
speaker.
Okay, and do what with it?
Just tap it. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so now this is going to be a bit Inception-y, and
Yeah.
in just a minute you're going to see everything within everything else. It should be pretty trippy. Here we go. That should be, yeah, very Inception-y.
Francisco, open a dark web window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch.
But at least you kind of got a feel where it was ramping up. Now it wasn't
A little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't. Want me to get off this site onto something?
Oh, there it goes. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that's very.
That's so cool.
Okay. But now that you kind of know what I'm talking about, your foot on the accelerator, kind of, you know, that,
Yeah.
it bugs me.
Well,
so help me, Gary. Do the voodoo that you do.
so here's the problem.
Okay.
First of all, you haven't really replicated the problem for me. Right? It's difficult to know if we fix something if we can't really replicate it before and after testing to see if there's any difference if what we did made a change. But there are a few kind of staple things anybody can easily do, and this is a good opportunity to revisit those things. And if we go back to your machine, because this is now gone from being amusing to annoying.
Okay.
We're going to go back full screen on your desktop. That's again just for Mitch and I to see. And then go ahead and use your mouse to close out of
the browser.
Just, you know what? Go to my icon in the bottom left corner.
Yeah.
And just go to my channel. Yeah, click on that. Just get me to my channel. Okay, thank you. Now, I could hear a little bit of the ramping up and down, but it's not like at a level where I would say it needs attention. But of course, you'll probably take it home and plug it in and right away it'll start,
Yeah.
right? So the question is, what has changed between when we built it and when the problem started? So that's always going to be one of the first questions I'm going to ask is, did you install anything new? Especially when we're talking about the fans, did you install different fans? It's all the original hardware.
Yeah, so basically the only thing new was 5 days ago installing a graphics card.
So I returned, Mitch had mentioned that he asked me if I had a spare graphics card for...
I just had, just the...
You were using onboard or
Onboard.
integrated.
And I would do some encoding, and then the fans would really...
Oh, that's what it was.
Really ramp
and
up.
So his fans were getting, and he said, do you have a spare video card? I said, well, I still have the original...
From the Stormtrooper build.
Yeah. Mitch's 770,
Right.
GTX 770. So you want it back? He's like, yeah, sure. So then he took it home and plugged it in.
Maybe I didn't plug it. No, I must have plugged it in because it noticed it right away.
Oh, no, I mean, we're running off of it right now. And,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Pretty good, huh? To install a graphic card myself.
I noticed you didn't put the wire, you didn't do any wire management.
Yeah. So, well, what tests?
We'll talk about that later.
All right.
You and I will have a little talk about that.
He'll make me wear the dunce cap. So, what tests can we maybe do? Should we? What about not to get ahead? What about the BIOS? Should I go to Google and see whether I'm 7 BIOSes behind?
Well, you know what? We're gonna do both.
Okay.
So let me come over here and use your mouse and keyboard. And what I want to do is we're going to close this and we're going to shut this down. Let's just shut it off entirely.
Okay.
And in just a minute here, after it powers off, I'm going to turn it back on and go into the BIOS. We're going to see what version of BIOS you've got now. And I also want to see what your fan settings are in the BIOS.
Okay.
Because I don't normally go in there and adjust it, but if somebody is sensitive to the sound or it's being loud, there are settings in the BIOS. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on, and I'm going to start pressing delete right away. Over and over and over. Delete, 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 delete. Now, if you have a system by another manufacturer, then it might be F2 or it could be F10. But on these systems that I build here, you see at the bottom it says press delete or F2 to enter UEFI BIOS setting. And I don't know, did I not turn the keyboard on? The keyboard is on. I don't know why. There.
Oh, it wasn't on.
Look at that goofy guy. Who's that?
So shut that back down.
Yeah. Now we can also...
not to interrupt, you see that picture that came up?
Yeah.
How do I change that picture? You can show me later.
You would just go to your settings here.
Yeah.
Right up here.
Yeah.
And then you could go to accounts.
Okay.
And then you can change your picture, create your picture with a
Oh,
camera.
got it. Okay.
Browse
Got
for
it.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super easy.
Yeah. I want to.
If you have any other easy questions, I
no. It's just I want to use my new headshot. Yeah. So.
Shouldn't say that to a gamer.
Headshot.
I was really good at Unreal Tournament when you snipe somebody in the head.
Yeah, no.
Headshot.
That's an actor term. Okay, shut down.
So here's what I can do also. Instead of trying to hit delete, especially if you've got like fast boot enabled,
okay,
we can go to settings, we can go to update and security, go to troubleshoot. Is it troubleshooting? Additional troubleshooter? No, I guess it's not troubleshoot, it's recovery. And then advanced startup right here.
Gotcha.
So we're under, it's weird to go under recovery. And it looks like it's restarting, but it isn't. Oh. It's getting this other menu ready.
Okay.
And one of those menu options, if you have a UEFI BIOS, is to automatically go into the BIOS. So right here it says troubleshoot, even though it wasn't in the troubleshooting section.
Okay.
Is Microsoft. We're going to click troubleshoot. We're going to click advanced options. And then UEFI firmware settings. This means when we restart the computer, instead of loading Windows, it's going to go right into the BIOS without us pressing any buttons.
Very nice.
Right? So we'll just click on that. It says, are you sure? Or basically, hit the restart button. And with no hands.
Nothing up my sleeve.
No sleeves. It'll go right into the BIOS by itself. BIOS itself.
Which has not been seen since we built this back in March of 2019. Very exciting,
Ooh. There it is. Now we can see the rotations of the fans down here in the bottom left corner.
Okay.
We've got XMP enabled, which is irrelevant, but just wanted to point it out. We're in BIOS version 1802 on an ASUS Z370A Prime. So the first question is there a version of the BIOS newer than 1802? Answer that,
help us out, chat.
Well, the chat will certainly tell us, I'm sure, but you and I can just go to Google. The chat won't be able to see our screen, but I'll just go to Google and I'll type in ASUS Z370-A BIOS. And the first link, Google. Now, I can't speak for Bing or DuckDuckGo, but I know Google, the very first link, that's the one we want. And we don't want the Z370A2. We want the original A version. And we want to make sure that there was an 1802. Okay. So when we look at the previous BIOS versions, which one did it say at? 1802?
Yeah.
And since then, there's been 5 BIOS updates. Thank you, Macaulay. So I'm going to download the latest BIOS update, and I've got a blank flash drive here. I'm going to plug in to the streaming computer. Once again, guys, you'll have to just bear with me here because we just can't get every camera angle possible. And all I'm going to do is take that downloaded file, and I'm going to extract it to this blank flash drive. I use a blank flash drive so that I don't worry about confusing.
You're that easily confused?
Very,
okay.
Yeah. If a door says push on it, I'm going to be there a while because I'll be pulling on it trying to figure out why it's not opening.
So did you download and then you extract, or you extracted?
So you download. I download the zip file.
Okay.
And then I extracted it right to the flash drive. Okay. With ASUS, you only get one file. And usually zip files contain a number of more than one file. Okay. Sort of like, if you were to buy a new set of drinking cups, the cups would all be put together in one box. Okay. They wouldn't send each cup in its own box. Okay. So think of a zip file as a container, like a box. When you open that container, that way you don't have to grab every single file. If there's 200 files, what a pain. So now you just grab this one zip file, and by unzipping it, you're unboxing it. Okay. But in this case, ASUS only has one item in that box. All right. And it's a .cap file. And I've copied or extracted that .cap file to this flash drive right here. Now, just so I can monitor that we're still broadcasting correctly. Yeah, I'm right here. Okay. And I'm going to just plug it in. Let's go somewhere back here. How about right? about that one right there? Now, sometimes you'll have to reboot the computer. Other times, if you just give it a minute, it'll automatically acknowledge you have a flash drive attached. And one easy way to tell is while we're in the BIOS, there's a couple of things we can do. I don't want to adjust for your fans because when we reset when we update the BIOS, it's going to probably need to be recalibrated. So I don't want to do it twice.
Okay.
But you'll notice it says Q fan control right here. When you go into Q fan control, you can have it check your fans. You tell it whether or not you've got the 3-pin fan, which is called a DC fan, or a PWM fan, which is a fan with 4.
Which I thought those very expensive fans.
Well, we'll look at that. But this may be a problem that also solves itself with the BIOS update.
Oh. Okay.
But you see there's an optimize all, and it'll run the fans from the slowest speed to the fastest speed.
Okay.
Okay. And then it'll set, you have standard mode, silent mode. See by clicking on that? Turbo for best cooling. Full speed, this will get loud. Or manual fan control. Okay. And you can see these charts are showing you the temperature range and how the fan speed goes up as the temperature goes up.
Okay.
See how that works?
Yeah.
So manual mode means we could drag this and put it over here, and maybe, grab this one and move it down over here like this. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think you can outsmart the engineers, hey, have at it. So we'll leave it back to standard. That's your standard. So those things shouldn't ramp up until it hits 70.
Okay.
Or you put it on silent, which means the system's going to run overall hotter. But do you notice the fan curve is very similar here? Look at standard again.
Okay. Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
Not a whole lot of difference there.
Okay.
So basically the standard one should be quiet enough.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit exit because we're not going to leave these. There's no point in messing with this and then update the BIOS and have it completely lose the setting. So let's go down here. It says advanced mode. And somewhere tool, right up here it says tool. And then we do ASUS Easy Flash 3 Utility.
Okay.
And then we're going to select the BIOS update file via, well, there's a via internet option here. Let's try that. Even though I've already got the file, let's see if, I'm kind of curious.
Let's try.
So it's going to automatically reboot first and foremost, which is weird because you think it would go online first and check, but I don't know, whatever. Let's see what it does. I've been experimenting with the internet. I first saw this on an ASRock board and it didn't work.
Okay.
And then after about a year, it started working. And with ASUS, I noticed, I want to say it was ASUS, that it said there were no updates available when in fact there was one. So I'm just kind of curious if it offers it to you, and if so, if it offers you the same version that we downloaded.
Okay.
So select the BIOS update method via internet. And then next. So what was happening is it probably didn't have the Ethernet cable adapter enabled when we went directly into the BIOS, and by restarting it, I'm guessing that's why it had to restart. Okay. So we're going to, DHCP means most people are going to select DHCP.
Okay.
If you have these other options, you probably know that. So if you don't know, just leave it on DHCP.
Gotcha.
And then when you click next, there's going to be a delay. Now it says there's the latest BIOS is 2401.
Okay.
Do you remember what version I had?
2018 or 1802? Yeah, 1802.
No, 1802 is your previous version.
version.
But what version did I download? Do you remember?
I don't.
Well, we're going to just do this anyway.
Sure.
So we'll let it download. Forget the fact that I extracted it and put it on a flash drive. Just never mind that. Let's pretend we didn't even do that. The thing is, by doing it with the flash drive,
that was quick.
It's a small file. By using the flash drive, yeah, it is 2401. By using the flash drive, that process works pretty much universally with any home-built computer in the last 20 years. The option to go through the internet is a relatively new option. which started right around that time, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago is when I first started seeing it. So what I'm letting you know is if you have a newer computer, instead of like, how do I know the right BIOS version? How do I extract it? This does it all for you.
I wish I have the book. I have the book, so I probably could have gone in there and it might have.
If people
shown
read
me
the books, or if the books were written in a way that they were comprehensible to the average person, I would not have a YouTube channel. So don't beat yourself up over that.
Okay.
And each manufacturer does it differently.
Okay.
Like, so how Dell wants to do it, or how HP, and then how it's done versus a desktop and a laptop, it just varies. Usually those pre-built machines, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, will have a utility in your start menu from the manufacturer, the Dell update utility, the HP update utility, and they generally update all your drivers and your BIOS all in one utility. But if you built a computer yourself, as you and I did here, then you probably have an ASRock, Asus, Gigabyte, or MSI motherboard.
And each
one does it a little differently. And even from one model of motherboard to another model from the same manufacturer may be a little bit different.
But at the time, this was a good motherboard, right?
It's still a good board. No, I mean, so we went to the Z390, I think the 390, and then we went to the 470 and the 490. So it's just really one generation behind. And the type of processor that we would buy today that's sort of at that same price point is going to give you less than double digit, I would guess, maybe 10. If it's going to be double digits, it's going to be low, like maybe 10 to 12% faster. So it's not like upgrading this to a Z490 chipset's going to benefit you, because Intel still isn't even offering PCIe Gen 4 yet. So you couldn't, like if you bought a Gen 4 solid state drive, you couldn't take advantage of that with Intel. Not yet. But some point, probably next year in about 4 or 5 months. And even with AMD, you got to go, with a brand new chipset for that.
I would like to hear this coming March for my next birthday go smaller. I'd like to build something.
You want to build something small like the little M1?
Yeah. It's just nice. It sits on a desk. It's a full-blown...
It's nice to have, but it can be a pain to get the right parts and to work on it. And the cable management, like you can't leave your cable management like you did here in a little machine.
You saying I have bad... now that you mentioned it, I think
I know I didn't give it to you that way.
Yeah.
You dismantled my fine and articulate work.
I did not. We forget, folks.
I'm not saying you did it for no reason.
I pulled out a pair of pliers out of that machine.
Okay, so I might have left... Hey, sometimes a surgeon leaves the little scalpel inside you. Yeah. It's not that uncommon. Yeah. What do you think I have that jingle when I move this way? It's from some surgery I had a few years ago. And now typically we've left it in there so people know, where I am.
That's right. Now typically by using the flash drive, it seems to me to be a lot quicker.
It's faster.
It's faster than...
wait a minute. In all fairness, it's faster because I know what I'm doing. Like it could take a novice...
Oh, that's the reason. Okay.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, to find the right BIOS.
Right.
How to extract it, how to move it to the flash drive.
There you go.
All that takes time.
Okay.
So because this is all being done for you automatically, and we're not touching anything. This is all...
it restarted itself.
All by itself. Yep. You don't have to touch anything.
But you should have maybe pulled the flash drive that had the boot drive.
No. Just leave hands off.
Okay.
This whole process, ever since I told it the first restart, I have not touched it since.
Okay.
Right? Or I've had to confirm it. I think
it's very exciting, Chad. I'm on pins and needles, I think.
Oh, sorry. I thought I cleaned those up.
Yeah.
I was carrying a bunch of pins and needles that spilled.
What's that?
What does it say?
Me.
That's the management engine is updating. Do not shut down or reset the system to prevent system boot failure. So people get impatient and they think something's wrong, and then they start fidgeting with things, and that's what makes it go wrong. It is important, if you want your BIOS update to go successfully, don't touch your keyboard, don't touch your mouse, don't think something's wrong. Be patient and give it at least a good 10 minutes from the time you start until the time it's done. You see, it's automatically rebooted itself again. We have not touched anything, folks.
Yep.
And I know 10 minutes can feel like forever, but it's really nothing. Like if you said, hey, are you ready? And you go, no, I need 10 minutes. People are like, oh, that's reasonable.
And there you go. I mean, I think it's going to go right back into the BIOS.
No, I think it'll boot into, oh no. All right, so here it's going to tell us that the BIOS has been reset. So now it's like starting the system up for the first time again.
Oh yeah, BIOS 2401, yeah.
But it wants to know like SATA mode or RAID mode, all this other stuff. So we hit F1 over on the keyboard here. And give it just a second. It's a little delay. It's gonna come up in the BIOS here. There we are.
Okay.
You'll see XMP is disabled again. So we'll turn that back on. Would you like to enhance the system performance with the XMP settings? Setting no applies Intel stock settings and TDP until you load UEFI defaults or clear CMOS. Do not select no if you intent, I think they meant to say intend.
Yeah, intend.
To overclock the CPU.
I don't.
Sufficient processor cooling like water cooling is required if you click yes. Well, no, I don't want to do that. I just wanted XMP. So, and then as far as the fans, so again, we go to the Q fan control.
Okay.
Now, every manufacturer of motherboard has their own. Asus calls theirs Q fan.
Okay.
And hit this button right here. It says optimize all. And it says click OK button to detect the lowest speed and configure the minimum duty circle. I think they meant cycle.
Okay.
This is some good Chinglish.
Yeah.
For each fan, it may take 2 to 5 minutes. Do not shut down or reset your system during the tuning progress.
Should we do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you will hear the fans. And it's going to determine how much voltage do I send this to get what rotational speed, and then associate that with at what temperatures so bigger fans, they spin slower.
And tell people in chat who might not know what maglev means. Mag levitation fans mean.
So magnetic levitation fans mean that the fan and the motor, there's no bearings. It's just a magnet. You ever seen like those floating little desk pens and stuff?
Right.
It's just a magnet. So they don't actually touch. So in theory, these fans should like last forever.
Okay.
But it's my understanding that these fans are generally louder, that maglev fans are generally louder. But they're supposed to be very, very robust in the sense that, you remove the bearing, that's the part where the wear happens. So in theory, that's my understanding of them. They are expensive, and they are generally seen as the best.
Yeah.
However, what you think is the best and what I think is, like a lot of people are still going to say Noctua makes the best fans. That tends to be the way of the geek on the internet.
But back when they were brown, I didn't like it. So.
Right. Well, they have them in black and they have them in gray. Now here it's giving us the minimum duty cycle. Oh, they said cycle this time and not circle.
Okay.
Of each fan has changed. See that?
Okay.
So it's telling you what it was set to and what it's set to now. And they're all pretty much the same except for chassis fan 1 for some reason has been adjusted. And so we're just going to click OK. And hit well, I guess there's no apply. So all we can do is escape. And then down here it says save and exit. We can check any other setting when we're in here if we wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it.
Okay.
And this tells us all the changes that were made to the system.
Okay.
And we'll hit OK. And now it's going to restart and take you back into Windows.
And then didn't you say in the Windows operating system itself, there's something that we can look at? Power options.
Yeah, we want to check and make sure that you've got your CPU minimum processor state at 5%.
Did you want to pull that USB out too?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait till Windows is up. We ended up not even using this USB. So even though I downloaded the correct file and transferred it correctly, I decided, since that's the way I always do it, I wanted to try the internet option because I very rarely do that.
Please work, please work,
Oh,
please
it's
work,
work.
please work.
No, you're well past that. The praying part was back when we were updating. Now it's fine. Yeah, you're a little bit late on your.
Okay, and there it is. Okay.
Okay, so, and I don't have to do anything special. I just pull that out.
Okay.
So if we go here, down in the corner, and just type in power and sleep settings right here.
Okay.
Or edit power plan, any of those should be fine. We've got set to turn off the display after 15 minutes.
Is that good? I mean,
Yep. This is what I set all my computers to. Put the computer to sleep, never. There's no battery.
Well, we used Uncle Carrie's optimizer on this baby.
Right. And so we want to make sure that the hard disk always stays on. I don't even think you have any hard disks in
I
here.
had two.
Oh, well, I would always leave them on.
Okay.
Because it's the spinning up and the spinning down. That's what's causing the wear.
Okay.
And that's where your failure is going to be. But right here under processor power management, I see a lot of people for some reason will have the minimum processor state at 100%.
Okay. What do I?
Which I don't understand why you'd want. You'd want it to be at 5%, which is where you're at.
Did the optimizer do that or no?
The optimizer should have done that, yeah.
Okay.
And then you can set your cooling policy as to how you want how active or passive you want the cooling to be. So I'm going to leave it on active.
Okay.
So this is all set correctly. And then of course, maximum should be 100%. So all of this, as far as I can tell, is correct. Now, with regards to the fan ramping up and down, I could just say, have at it and see if you can.
No, I mean, again, we've done the things that.
Like what were you using before? Google Chrome?
Chrome, yeah.
And then we'll just go to UE2B. Oh, by the way, you want to see what happens if you misspell YouTube?
Rather not.
Yeah, let me show you.
I don't have.
Let's say I put a D on there.
Yeah, I don't have malware bytes on this.
Well, then we'll have something else to do.
All right.
This is what you do not want to do. Okay. Watch what happens with that simple little typo. You ready? You ready to freak out? Uh-oh.
By one letter, you mistyped.
So here's the thing. None of that is real.
Okay.
Like that list of files and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's a good thing.
Actually, that could be an actual list of files, but they're not.
Okay.
They're not doing anything. So what do you do if this happens to you? What would you do right now?
You don't panic. You just retype in correctly YouTube, and it should bounce you right off of that page.
Well, let's try that and see what happens. Okay. Let's ignore this.
Okay.
Go ahead and click up at your URL, highlight that, and then type it correctly. Hey, what do you know? There's no more virus. You're like a tech.
IT, baby, that's the name of the game. All right.
Now, of course, I do want to. You said you don't have malware bytes?
I don't.
I'm going to set you up with malware bytes. Let's throw that on here just to make sure that.
What a guy. What a guy.
What else? Do you have any security on here? That's not a good answer.
No, well, just Windows.
All right, well, that's better than nothing. But we're going to download malware bytes here. I'll just hit right down here. It says malware bytes free.
You said don't get the free. It's no
well,
good.
You'll get a 14-day trial of it running.
Oh, okay.
And I have license codes. And I'm going to put a license code in when people aren't watching.
What a guy. What a guy. Okay.
But in the meantime, we can scan your computer because a good virus, you'll never know you've got it. A lot of people think that a virus is going to...
Is it downloading? I can't tell.
A lot of people think that a virus is going to cause your system to crash or to give errors. But a good virus... It runs like any other program. It runs quietly in the background, and you'll never know.
Is this going to slow down my very fast gigablast that I pay a fortune for?
No, this isn't. It's very light on system resources.
Okay. Famous last words.
Okay. Where does my download go?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. It did download. It's right here. So we click on that. Click yes. Personal computer. Install. Browser guard, yeah, install the browser guard. That's a new thing.
Okay.
And that'll let you know if you're visiting sites like that one we just went to.
Yeah.
In fact, after we install this, we should try and go back and see what happens.
Okay.
This will be a good test because I have no idea, honestly.
You mean you're going to be learning something today?
With your computer, though.
With not your bag.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, thank you very little. All right. So.
I mean, despite what you may have heard on the internet,
Okay.
I'm not that stupid. All right, this does take a minute to install, but despite that, it's not a heavy resource-intensive program.
So while we're waiting, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, another plug.
Is it for Toto?
Mitch's favorite band, Toto. They're coming out of retirement, and they're streaming a live concert Saturday, November 21st. A ticket
10 days from now.
A ticket is $15. They got 2 or 3 new guys in the band. It's going to be great. And then they did say that they will tour next year when it's safe to tour. So I'm out of my mind happy because I thought they retired last year after 42 years. And so there you go. If you want something on Saturday night, November 21st, you know what Uncle Mitch is going to be doing. I'd like to have Carrie over in my screening room and watch it with me if he can stay awake that long. And I'm not sure when it starts at 8 o'clock or Central or Pacific, but
I'll stay up later than you, old man. Please.
But I'm excited to, I think it's great that they're streaming a live concert. I've seen photos of them rehearsing this week with the new guys in the band, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So
behind our video, just so people know, it wants to enable the extension for the browser guard.
Okay.
So I'm going to click to enable that extension.
You can see that? Okay.
Well, I saw it before.
Oh, okay.
And then if we, again, we're going to go back to full screen on for us.
Yeah.
And it says, all right, welcome to Malwarebytes browser guard, blah, blah, blah. We'll just close that out. Welcome to Malwarebytes, get started. If you have a license, you can install it, but I'm going to say maybe later. Okay. Now, this is a fully functioning 14-day trial, right? So you know exactly what you're getting for the money. Mm-hmm. And before you guys shell out any money for this, let me talk to Malwarebytes and see if I can get you guys a deal, all right? Because I really like this program a lot. I'm going to hit get started.
Gotcha.
Like you can go and grab the 14-day free trial. You have a fully protected computer. We'll let it scan your files and let it look to see if it finds anything. And while it's doing that,
I'll bet you a Buffalo nickel it finds nothing. What do you think?
Do you know how much a Buffalo nickel is worth?
Yeah.
I minimized it. So it's going to scan all the files on the machine, and it's already got 3 detections. How much were you betting?
A Buffalo nickel.
For each one?
No. Just 3, I don't believe.
It's not even done yet. Now, detections don't necessarily mean viruses or malware. It could also mean something called potentially unwanted programs. Now, I've never seen a potentially unwanted program that I ever wanted. Okay. There's no potential about it.
I'll look at it.
My recommendation is if you have whatever the results are that Malwarebytes comes up with, you should quarantine everything without even worrying about looking up each item.
There it is, lucky 45.
So you'll see PUP, right? That's a potentially unwanted program.
Okay.
They're not dangerous, they're just annoying.
Okay.
And you shouldn't be required. Most of what we're seeing here is PUPs, but I do see malware. Look at that, adware.
How do you like them apples?
Yeah, and you didn't even know, right?
I didn't even know.
And you can scroll down and we can go through all of this.
As long as it
ignorance is bliss.
As long as it doesn't show them the sites that I visited, I'm okay with it.
Is it the sites you're uploading to?
Yeah. But anyway,
it's not the sites you're downloading from. It's the sites he's uploading to.
Okay. So then we hit quarantine.
Yeah, just make sure everything's already checked.
Gotcha.
By default.
All right.
And like I said, you don't have to look each one of these up. Just hit quarantine. Let it quarantine everything.
Now, how often do you run that? Or once you get the license, it runs itself.
So that's the beauty. See, the free version, after your 14 days trial is over, if you don't pay for it, then all it can do is identify what you've already got.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything to prevent you from getting infected.
A future, and as we know,
and it trains you. In other words, like when you go to a site now that Malwarebytes knows is distributing malware, it'll warn you, which trains you. So, okay, I won't go to that site. Whatever you're getting from that site, find it somewhere else. This is the internet. There's not just one website where everything is. So it helps to train you the things to look for. Like say, for example, we try and go back to that bad YouTube site. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly don't know, but in theory,
this is very exciting.
They should catch it.
YouTube, yeah.
TUBD. Let's see if it takes us there. It's thinking about it. Still thinking about it. Let's refresh it. See, it's not even loading now. I would think Malwarebytes would pop up, but I mean, it's not even.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Yes. So, anyway.
Back to the real site.
So let's close that down, and we'll close this down. And then later, when we buy a license, so Malwarebytes, when it's active and running and paid for, it'll help prevent those infections from ever occurring. It'll let you know real time. Or in this case, maybe it's the browser got an add-on that's protected. Usually they notify you.
Right.
If you go right here to activate license, if you buy a license, you just click on activate license.
Okay.
If you want to buy the license, you can, again, you can hit here and then say purchase a license. And then it'll take you to their site. But I'm telling you, you can get it cheaper than this.
Let's wait for Uncle Kerry. He might have a deal.
So $3.33 a month. Like I've seen it for sale for $30 for 3 PCs.
Okay.
And what that means is your subscription starts the day you activate it, regardless if you put it on 1 PC or 3.
Right.
So if you wait a month and then install it on PC 2, and then you wait another 6 weeks and install it on PC 3.
Why would you do that?
You don't get a year.
Correct.
You get what's left of the year. Do you understand? It's the same license code. But I'm sure we can do a better deal than this, and we'll see what we can do for you guys on that. Let me know what you guys think of that idea, and then I will present it to Malwarebytes.
So then, with those 45 things in quarantine, does Malwarebytes occasionally expunge? That's a good word. Get rid of it off the machine somehow, delete it, or is that something you can manually do, where you're like, get rid of those, or it's in quarantine forever?
It's in quarantine, I believe, until you empty the quarantine folder.
Oh, okay.
Right. So because I think the logic is, like people who want to freeze themselves after they die so that they can bring them back to life.
Well, that's right here in Scottsdale at Alcor.
Cryo freeze.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we can unfreeze you when we have a cure for whatever it was that killed you.
Right.
So part of the reason they keep files in quarantine is, what if you can't even see me over this? This is so terrible.
Well, let's
what
go back to
what if you have a file
that
you needed but it's infected? So they just keep it in quarantine in the hopes that there'll be a disinfectant for that in the future.
Okay.
But if everything in quarantine is pups and just crap, you can just say to empty my quarantine folder or delete my quarantine folder, and that's in the options of Malwarebytes. Now, I need to get someone from Malwarebytes on the show, and I'm sure that they can tell us all about that. And if it does do it automatically, I don't know what the interval is. I have no idea.
Okay.
But one thing is, we haven't been paying attention to the chat. I want to jump into the chat and see what we've been missing. We've been live now just nearly an hour. And
did you learn some good stuff? I know I did, chat. So how do you like that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Welcome to Mitch Morrison Cliche Festival.
Smoking a pipe is not healthy.
No.
All right. Tom Brown says it's his birthday tomorrow. Well, happy birthday, Tom.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Easy to remember, the day after Veterans Day.
Is Malwarebytes redundant if Acronis 2021 is installed now that antivirus is included with Acronis? That's a very good question, because an antivirus is not anti-malware. And I haven't tested enough with Acronis. So right now, I run both Acronis and a paid Malwarebytes on my office computer, And yeah, I don't even know they're running. Like both Acronis is extraordinarily lightweight, and Malwarebytes is very lightweight on resources. So I'm kind of in the better safe than sorry. And because Acronis is still sort of new to the antivirus game, for my own sake, I have temporarily disabled the antivirus on Acronis, just to see what the system resources, what the system felt like with and without it.
Okay.
I don't notice any difference at all. So they will work together. The question is, if you have one, do you need the other? I don't know. I do know I trust Malwarebytes. They've been around a long time.
Yeah.
Acronis needs some time for me to, as far as the antivirus goes, like I don't use Acronis for antivirus. I use it for backing up imaging and cloning.
Yeah.
But let's say you've mastered that. What do you do next? So next you add some antivirus. Okay, now you've mastered that. What do you do next? Well, maybe we'll do driver and patch management. Okay, well, what do you do next? Like you have to keep your business sustaining. So you have to keep growing and expanding it. And I understand exactly what Acronis is doing. But right now, this is the first version of Acronis True Image that has antivirus. It had like anti-ransomware and stuff before, which was excellent, by the way. And of course, Malwarebytes has added all that too. So yes, if we had a Venn diagram, there's definitely some overlap. However, I don't know that there's not some stuff that Acronis might be protecting you from that Malwarebytes doesn't, or vice versa. That's entirely possible, and it would require more testing. So for now, until I have more information, or rather more experience with Acronis AV, I prefer to stick with what I know, which is Malwarebytes. And I don't use Malwarebytes for cloning or imaging or backing up. But converging tools into one makes life easier for everybody if all those tools are of equal strength.
And I gotta tell you, even with the side panel off, I'm getting a vibe here that this is quieter than what it was before. So I mean, I want to thank you. I mean,
well, maybe you just need me around to talk loud,
that's
and then the fans will seem
yeah,
quieter.
That's true too. But they do seem to be not spinning as fast as I remember, and it seems quieter. Should we put the side panel back on, or what do you think?
Sure. Just looking in the chat.
But that was a very good question that was asked. Try not to ask too tough of questions, otherwise you'll see smoke come out of Carrie's ears. So be a little calm.
That's not my ear. Kevin Rink says, do you subscribe to the Malwarebytes Tech Bench? I don't, but Mike Smith does. I've never used it. Irving T is joining us all the way from France. Always good to see Irving in the chat. Let's put that side panel on now. Do you see any questions in there, Mitch? You want to?
No. And again, I don't care that these aren't all beautifully zip tied.
What's up with these cables? Does not even
didn't
even run them behind them. Have I taught you nothing?
Right. It works. I wish that panel wasn't see-through. It's not glass, it's plastic, like the 200R. But I liked this case because of the two front fans. So
look, I'm in Windows.
What are you trying to do, the old romper room? Most people won't remember that. You wouldn't remember that, so.
I remember the name, the show, Romper Room Electric Company.
Yeah. Nope.
What am I? Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, guys, any questions for us? Please throw those in the chat right now, because we're about to wrap up today's video.
Is that not? Look, it doesn't seem to be flush.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't really pay attention to how this went on. I don't work with a 450D very often, could you tell? Yeah, there's a couple little catches that have to go in, and then it has to slide forward. Yeah, that's much better. if you ignore that and say, it's good enough, it will warp the case panel. Why do I have that on slow? It'll put a little warp in it, and then it'll be almost impossible to take that warp out after a amount of time. Hey, there's our good friend Peter Laycock in the chat room.
Hey,
Peter's
Peter, yeah.
joining us all the way from Bonnie, Scotland.
Well,
And they said that cable management, it's crap.
Well, my last name's Morrison, so I'm part Scots and part Irish, I guess. So
You're nae Scottish.
yeah.
That's a load of crap.
No, I think it's quieter. I thank you, Carrie. It's that's all it took was
They're like, please don't ever do that accent, whatever that was supposed to be.
Shrek. BIOS update and
Yeah, you got a BIOS update, and
I got malware bytes. How do you like that?
yeah, we'll put a license for a 1-year subscription to malware bytes.
I had 45 doodads in there. Very bad. That's you. I'm sure you've scanned some machines, for the first time and had hundreds, if not thousands.
You just trying to make yourself feel better?
Yeah, I mean that I only had 45.
I've seen over 100,000. Yeah, machines that have no maintenance at all, and people just do willy-nilly. They think I've got antivirus, I can just do whatever I want.
Right.
That's like, I drive a Volvo, so I can just drive however I want. It doesn't work that way. The antivirus is there to help you, but it's not there to protect you 100%. The only way it could do that would be to tie your hands behind your head and tape your mouth shut so you couldn't communicate with the computer. You could see that's worked out really well for me.
So I learned a lot today. Not from you, but from Chad. So
apparently there's a store called Morrison's. There's Tesco.
Okay.
Tesco's like Kroger over there. And then there's
Morrison with 2 R's?
Morrison.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he's saying. Everybody loves Tesco. You know what our Tesco was? Do you remember when we had Fresh and Easy?
I do. Yeah.
That was Tesco from England, from the UK. Oh, and Sainsbury's. Oh, you got to remember. Don't say Sainsbury. That's not right. Sainsbury. Take the U out. You go into Sainsbury, and this is not a...
That's a remote.
What do you call it?
A remote.
What did your parents call it?
Get the... I don't know. I don't remember.
A doohickey, doodad, the flipper. My mom would say, where's the flipper?
Yeah, where's the flipper? Yeah.
So I'd give her the middle finger. Yeah, it's right there, Mom. This, in England, they might say is the doobry. Where's the doobry? Okay. Where's that thingamajig? Where's the
click?
The
Everyone's
thingy.
saying the clicker.
Clicker.
Yeah. So,
my mom called it a flipper. Where's the flipper?
Right.
So I'd flip her off.
Nice kid. Well, thanks, everybody.
She raised me. What do you want? You think I'm going to be nicer than how I was raised?
Well, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This was a, kind of a simple show, but those spinning fans, the noise kind of bothered me, even though it was on the floor next to me. It bugged me, and it seems to be running quieter, and so I'm quite pleased. Don't tell Carrie that. So.
Carrie, do you use a ticketing system to keep track of and document client work and projects? I do not. I used to do everything by hand, but I've allowed my client base to sort of dwindle so as a business you have to keep replenishing. Customers come and go. And I decided to stop replenishing customers so I could focus more time on YouTube. So my needs have gone, the needs of running the business have gone down. But that is, if YouTube was shut down tomorrow, I'd have to start knocking on some doors and taking up more clients and getting back to traditional full-time IT work, which then I would require a ticketing system at this point. Because when I was younger, I could just remember everything. And I would write up an individual ticket for each client, but it was no system. It was just me opening up Peachtree.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, if you have any other technical questions for Mitch or myself, or questions about Toto, you have the world's renowned atlas, living atlas,
world's biggest fan,
of the rock group Toto. And just again, looking here in the chat, if you had asked a question earlier, we did not see it. So you will have to ask your question.
Yeah, because we had it full screen. So
yeah, we were full screen on the desktop, so we could just see the.
Yeah. But
Carrie, hold on, wait. Will there be a 3080 Ti? No, there's a 3090, but will there be a 3080 Ti? I don't think so. Maybe. Who knows what NVIDIA's got up their sleeve? But everybody's so excited for AMD's Navi 2 lineup that's faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold my breath, nor would I never say never, because they're going to have to respond to that competition once it hits the market.
Now you say I ought to be able to get at least a couple more years out of this. I mean, you put an NVMe as my C drive, and again, I've got two mechanicals, mostly for storage in this. And I got the Mugans, so I ought to get a few more years out of this thing. I like it. I mean,
this was a not the highest level build, but it was near the top shelf when we put it together less than 2 years ago. I can almost guarantee you've got 8 more years left in this, at least. It depends on how your computing needs may change. But this will continue to load every version of Windows over the next 8 years. I can virtually guarantee that.
Got an i7 in it.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have any issues with any. What happens is people buy the cheapest thing they can buy. You know, they buy that $300, that $400 scrape the bottom of the barrel computer.
Yeah.
And then they get all upset when they can't put the latest Windows on it because it doesn't have enough storage, it doesn't have enough RAM, or there's no BIOS updates to keep it compatible.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't scrape the bottom of the barrel. But you also didn't, grab the most expensive thing either. So the bottom of the barrel, you're more likely to run into those problems sooner. When you reach for the best of the best, those tend to be a little finicky as they're bleeding edge technology, and then they tend to depreciate rather rapidly. And you're like, geez, I paid $3,000 for my CPU, and today it's $300. Must have been an AMD CPU. Anyway, the bottom line is that when you go to the top of the mid-range or the bottom of the high end, which is what I would describe this hardware selection of, minus the graphics card. The graphics card is several years old. That's recycled from the build before this.
Right.
This is going back. But, what you're using it for, this will continue to do that indefinitely.
Okay.
Right, until Windows no longer installs on it, or if your needs change. If you want to start editing videos, this will do fine, by the way, today. Mm-hmm. Now, what are the power needs going to be for, maybe you're going to want to make 16K videos, maybe the standard in 6 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's going to be very large file sizes. Cell phone pictures, maybe you want to move a lot of pictures, you're into photography. Pictures, the megapixels keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So the more, like if you're in IT, and you have a photographer as a client, I can guarantee you they have massive storage needs, and backups are incredibly important and very time consuming because of how much data they've got. Mm-hmm. So if your needs change, then your computer will need to change to match that.
Okay.
Right? So if you got yourself your little Saturn car, right? Little two-door little Saturn sports car. And it's been a good car for you for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow you buy a boat and you want to put a hitch on the Saturn. It's probably going to be okay. But let's say Mitch is rolling in the money,
Yeah.
You're like Toto's manager. and now you're going to upgrade that boat.
To a yacht.
To a yacht.
Right.
But you still want to tow it with the Saturn, even though the Saturn's still a good car. And it would run perfectly fine if you continue to drive it and use it in the way you've been using it for 20 years.
Yeah.
You're not using it the same anymore. And now suddenly you've got this yacht behind it. You're using it in a way you've never used it. And now you're going up a hill.
Yeah.
And you're like, this car sucks. No, there's nothing wrong with the car. You've outgrown it. People don't realize when you bought a computer that had Windows 7 on it and now you put Windows 10 on it and it's working, doesn't mean it's working well. That computer was never engineered or designed if you bought it back when Windows 7 was available. And then, of course, Windows 8 came out and Windows 10 came out. So even though Windows 10 will install on most computers that had 7 or 8 on them, doesn't mean that that's ideal, because now the computer is being used in a way it was not engineered to be used. That being said, it's not a universal blanket statement that all Windows 7 computers are being overtaxed or in over their heads with Windows 10. But I can tell you, you will feel a difference if you go to a friend's house or somebody who's got a modern, again, not scraping the bottom of the barrel, but a modern mid-range or upper end computer designed and built for Windows 10. You will see the difference. You'll feel it. You'll say, oh, this is quieter than mine. This is faster than mine. And there may be some security issues that come along with older hardware, such as BIOS exploits and things, where the companies are not paying the developers to write BIOS codes to patch something they sold you 8 years ago or 10 years ago. There's no money in that for them. They're giving the BIOS updates away for free, but they got to pay developers. So what they'll do is they'll just leave it. And they'll say, yeah, well, when you get your identity stolen or you get a massive virus because we didn't update the BIOS, you're well out of warranty, and that'll be an excuse to buy a new motherboard, and hopefully you'll buy another one from us. It's good business.
Yeah. Well, like you said, two or three more years, and I'm sure I'll be ready for an upgrade. But this is working great. This is my main daily driver, and will continue to be. And Chad, just so that you know, the reason Carrie said a vehicle Saturn is because one of my cars, keyword there's one of my cars, that I bought new is a 2003 Saturn Ion that has 217,000 miles on it, and you would swear it came off the showroom floor a week ago. I keep it in that great of condition. I mean, people can't believe the interior, and they're like, well, you never drive this car. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I got 217,000 miles on this, and they can't believe it. Original paint, of course, it's been garaged, but again, my Kelly Blue Book on it says it's only worth $750. So as far as I'm
Kelly Blue Book says you have to pay them money.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna drive that until it blows.
Yeah,
out.
There's no rips or tears in the interior. There's no fades. There's no cracks. The paint's sharp. So I don't know how you did it, but it still looks like. It looks like it might be 2 or 3 years old. It doesn't look like it's 17.
18 years old. So yeah, there you go.
Stan says you took that car around the moon. 217,000.
Yeah. And like Harry does himself, and I do. It was just the regular maintenance. I just follow the book, the regular oil changes, tune-ups when it tells me to tune up. New tire, rotate the tires every 6,000 miles. I wax it myself 3 times a year with a professional orbital buffer, and because it's garage, it's not out in this terrible summer Phoenix heat, and I like it. I get a lot of looks driving it. And
GW Eisen says he'll give you $1,500 for it. Guess that's a no. Hey, that's a pretty good deal for a $700 car.
Yeah, there you go. But that's not any computer questions. But hey, we thank you guys for tuning in today. This was
here. Wait, we have some questions.
Okay,
Carrie, what amount of free space would you recommend on a solid state drive? 20%. Whatever the drive capacity is, ideally have between 15 to 20% of the drive capacity in free space, or your SSD is likely going to start showing decreases in performance. Let's see. He said there's a guy from out of high school who weighed 150 pounds and he buys a smart car. He now weighs over 300 pounds and the smart car no longer works for him. I think smart car will move 300 pounds okay, but yeah, analogies, it's all good.
Yeah.
Let's see if we missed any other questions in here. Did I scrape the bottom of the barrel back in June when I accepted a local PC shop combo to go with my new case? It's an Intel 10700. No, you're fine. A B460 board. No, that's mid-range. It's not bottom of the barrel. Do you think Microsoft will release a new version of Windows soon? They just did. They just released the Windows 10 20H2 update. Every 6 months, in the fall and in the spring, there's a new Windows 10. And that's the way it will be as far as Microsoft is concerned.
Just like
forever.
daylight savings time. Spring and fall.
That's right. That's right. Can you still upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 for free? Yes, you can. If you have a legitimate license on Windows 7 and you upgrade to Windows 10, it's got to be the same version. So if it's Windows 7 Home, you have to go to Windows 10 Home. Windows 10 Pro won't be free. But if it's Windows 7 Pro or Windows 7 Ultimate, it should go to Windows 10 Pro for free. If you got Windows 7 Enterprise, then you're either a pirate or you got it through a company whose IT department supports you, and you would have to reach out to them for assistance. Mitch can solve the clear side panel by hitting the inside of the panel with black spray paint. That's how we captured the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Just
Luckily,
paint the side of the cave.
Luckily, to be honest, the side panel faces a wall, so I don't really see it. If it faced my leg, yeah, that would be very annoying, but it faces a wall, so it doesn't bother me.
Samuel Ramos says, hello, Carrie, Mitch, and chat. There's Hugh Wong joining us in the chat.
Hey,
hello,
Hugh. Yeah.
Hugh. They are wanting Windows 12. Well, I want Windows 47.
Yeah.
Which one of us you think is going to get it first?
I'm happy with 10. I think it's great.
What's in a
I
name?
like it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Windows 10 today is basically Windows 12. They just didn't change the name. They've changed the operating system like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
They used to call it Service Pack 1, Service Pack 2. Then they went to 8.1, 8, whatever. So now it's just Windows 10, and then it's the build.
Right.
But each build is a new version of Windows. Right. Each time, every fall and every spring, it's a new version of Windows. It's a big 4 gig.
Yeah. So get it.
It's free.
Don't delay. Get it
What,
today.
you guys want to spend money? Is that it? Yeah. I got all this money burning in my pocket. And I know I want an operating system to spy on me some more, because you know which direction that's going in.
Hugh says, Mitch, when is the Toto concert again? It will be, they're streaming the concert live on Saturday, November 21st. Just Google Toto live
What time?
Streaming concert. I think it's at 8 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 9 p.m. my time. And so I'll be there in my screening room with the big screen and blasting it. Not too loud though, because I'm old. I want to keep my hearing. So,
Keep it down in there.
Yeah, but looking forward to seeing the new guys in the band, and yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to see this screening room of yours.
Yeah, he never comes over, and he
tells
me I never invite him, but he's got an open.
Can I show up with like my
invitation.
belongings? Like
No,
that.
no.
Where am I sleeping?
Yeah. On an air,
you're like anywhere but here.
Yeah, on an air mattress on the floor. So you can have the
upgrade.
You can have the west wing, and I'll stay in the east wing.
So a real quick reminder that I worked out this deal with Acronis.
Get closer to the camera
Yeah.
so they can see your sincerity. Not that close.
So again, we had this long conversation with the folks at Acronis and explained to them this community and how this isn't like we have a very unique community here, and I want to make sure that we're giving this unique community a unique offer. And long story short is right now you can get Acronis True Image 2021. You can get the subscription for 60% off. So that takes the price from $49.99 to $20. Or if you want the perpetual license, which you should not buy, I can't tell you what you cannot buy, but I wouldn't buy the perpetual license. You can buy that for 40% off. Now the perpetual license is $59.99, and I think 40% off makes it like $36 or somewhere in that ballpark. But what I can tell you is this deal can expire at any time. It is quite possible that this deal expires tomorrow. I have no control over it. Ideally,
Through the end of the month.
till November 30th. But if I were you and you were kind of on the fence and you're deciding, I wouldn't procrastinate. The way you take advantage of the deal is you're going to go to acronis.com. You know, maybe we can just use your computer and I'll show everybody how to do this. We'll just do it live.
My computer? No, you're going to show
Well, that's a safe website, not like that fake YouTube site.
Okay.
Don't go to that one unless you're.
So you need this lap key.
Yeah, but I gotta go. I gotta turn on the.
Yeah.
Let's turn that off. And
So in other words, don't delay. Get Acronis.
well, I'm just
today.
saying. Give me a minute here, folks. The computer went to sleep. Oops. Okay, so let me go full screen for us. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's
Hello,
camera one.
hello, everybody.
No, they can't see that. Only we can see that. All right, so there's the desktop where we can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the browser.
But the audience can see that too, right?
They can only see the desktop.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go to acronis.com. Oh, the fans did ramp up a little bit there. Oh, I hear it now. And then, of course, we're in the U.S. You will obviously pick wherever you are. This should work around the world. And then we'll go right up here to the top. It says personal and Acronis Trimmage 2021. Now, we'll hit the buy it now button.
Okay.
Right? And you'll see they've got the essential 1-year subscription. This is what I'm talking about. The discount code will work on any of these.
Okay.
Right? For 60% off. Come down here. It says, are you looking for the perpetual license? See, they kind of hit it. You can see they don't want to sell this to you.
Buy or upgrade.
So we would do buy. By the way, this is cheaper to buy than to upgrade with this coupon deal we got going on. But that's how you find the perpetual license if you want to buy it. Now you see the perpetual license is $59.99.
Good for one computer for 1 year, correct?
You'll get updates for 1 year, but perpetual means it works indefinitely. But obviously the antivirus isn't going to get.
Right.
That's why the perpetual license doesn't make any sense.
Right.
With the antivirus, without any updates, it's pointless to have it. You might as well stay on the subscription, and the subscription is cheaper. Look.
Okay.
Normally websites, when you order, the coupon codes go somewhere over here on the right side. But Acronis, for some reason, they made this kind of hidden link.
There it is, yeah.
And so you got to enter my name, and you've got to enter it in all capitals.
You better type it and show them.
C-A-R-E-Y.
All in caps.
And then you have to hit the underscore. That's a shift and a dash, right?
What is it again? I didn't get
You know the minus sign?
Oh, yeah.
But we don't want the minus sign.
No.
That's not what we want. We want shift and then the minus. So we get this it's called an underscore. It looks like a little space.
Okay.
See the difference?
Yep.
And then put in the 2021, right? Because it's Acronis 2021. Okay. And then hit apply. Now watch the total price down on the bottom right. It's going to change, $35.99.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's say we wanted the subscription instead. Let's go back. And this would be the standard thing most people would buy right here. So I'd say, okay, add this to the cart. And then again, enter the coupon code. You see it's $49.99.
Right.
Right?
1 year for one computer. Okay.
Enter the coupon code. Now, if I enter this in lowercase, if I put in carry 2021,
it won't work.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
It's not
Watch what happens. Watch the price. Nothing. You see up here, input error.
It didn't work. All right.
And if we go over here and we put a dash there,
it still won't work. Yeah.
That's right. It's still not going to work. Watch. If we go over here and we put the underscore in here, you think it's going to work?
No.
No, because it's not uppercase. See? Input error. So if you want the code, you have to type it exactly. Capital C-A-R-E-Y underscore 2021. And then this is going to go to 60% off. You know what 60% off of $49.99 is?
I do not.
It'll be $20.
Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how that works, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to demonstrate it so there's no ambiguity.
Yeah.
That everything is clear.
And again, I'm a Acronis fan. I've been using it easily 8 to 10 years. Swear by it for my backups. And it's just peace of mind. I only back up. Some people back up once a day, once a week, twice a month. I set mine for the first day of every month, so I back up once a month, and it's there. So I know my backups are there. Peace of mind. If something goes wrong with a machine, just right back. You like that sound effect? Right back.
There's nothing that I find funnier and sadder than looking at the reviews for my favorite data recovery company.
$300
data recovery, right? Brian Cometa is he's a good friend. Well, he's a friend. If we were closer, we'd be better friends.
Right.
But he's got a good, honest service there. And what I think is funny and sad is when I read the reviews, there's a lot of 5-star Yelp reviews, like I think more than any other data recovery company. And they said, this is the second time I've used it. And I'm like, wait, what? So the person will write in that they've had to use his data recovery service more than once. There's somebody who's just not learning.
Right.
If you have backups, like using Acronis TrueImage to make backups, you should never, ever require the services of data recovery. In fact, that shouldn't even be a sustainable business model if people just did what they're supposed to do for the stuff they care about. Nobody else cares about your stuff. So it amuses me and it makes me a little sad when somebody says, $300 data recovery is fantastic. And I can tell you because I've used them 4 times. And it's good for Brian, it's good for $300 data recovery, but it's a lot cheaper to buy Acronis, especially when it's $20. Make the backup yourself. It won't take as long as a recovery. You won't have to worry about if everything can be recovered or not. When you send things in for data recovery, it takes time, and there's not a 100% guarantee they can get everything back or that they can get anything back at all. So you can spend a little now or a lot later. And the deal is supposed to be good. The coupon code is supposed to be good until November 30th of 2020. However, it is subject to change at any time. So if you don't take advantage of this, I promise you, this won't be offered again anytime soon because I've got some other exciting offers for other software and services, but I don't want to bury you with a bunch of ads. So like once a month, I want to change the deal. That's my plan. Every month we'll have a new deal. And then we may revisit Acronis, maybe a deal in 6 months, maybe. But more than likely, it'll be like a November thing. So every time there's a new version of Acronis and there's a reason to upgrade, let's get you a deal. But for people who are not interested, then next month there'll be something else. And for those people that are interested, the month after that, we'll see what is working, what people are responding to, and at the same time, try and find a way to monetize the channel to enable me to make more videos more often and make the content that you guys want to see.
Yeah. And it's again, it is not complicated. It's super easy to install. It's very intuitive. It'll help you to, do you want to back up once a week, once a month, and very simple. So do not think, well, I don't know what I'm doing, intimidated. They make it very easy to use, which is another reason why I just recommend it to people. So.
Well, even their representative, Acronis, one of their representatives, his name is Bagautin. He's from Russia. Super knowledgeable, super nice guy. We did a live interview here on the channel when he walked through how to download, install, and make your backup.
And that video's up on your channel.
Yeah,
right?
and that's for Acronis TrueImage 2020. Well, guess what? The process hasn't changed in Acronis TrueImage 2021. You can follow along exactly with the same process. Now, we didn't cover the recovery process, but there's a reason for that. If you have data that you need to recover, we can help you. But if you have data, let me rephrase, if you have data that you backed up and you don't know how to recover it, that's a good problem. If you have data you didn't back up and you want to know how to recover it, that is not something I can help you with. You got to go to a data recovery expert. It's very expensive. It's very time consuming. there's a lot of anxiety in it for both financial and time, wondering, will they be able to get anything back? And if so, will it be the important stuff? Will it be all of it? Will it be some of it? Who knows until they see what the situation is. But if you back it up, you know what you've got. And if you just don't know how to get it back, that's an easy process we can walk you through. But you've got to have it. Right? So don't worry about the recovery. Make your backup. And if the situation comes where you need to know how to do the recovery, we can help you.
Yeah. Kevin has a question. Mitch, do you perform on-site or off-site backups? How many copies do you test your backups? I'll tell you exactly. I went out and I bought a portable hard drive about 5 terabytes, and I put it right up here. And then on the last day of the month, I have a timer set, which reminds me, because my backup is set for the first day of the month at 8 a.m.
So that's all in Acronis. You tell Acronis how often you
want to do it. Yeah. So then I get a thing the last day of the month. I then plug it in, whether here on the front.
So you're not leaving it plugged in all the time.
No, and it just, when I wake up.
So it gives you an alert and it says, hey, it's time for your backup. Plug your drive in.
Drive in. I plug it in. Typically, it will do a full backup of the C drive, and then do incrementals, which is
just the changes.
Which is a lot. Just the change is a lot smaller. And I don't validate them. I just, again, I believe it says your backup was successful. Acronis comes back and says that. And so,
you can continue to use the computer while it's backing up.
Right. And knowing peace of mind that even with those incremental, that I have a full backup of the C drive in case there would be an issue with the incremental, which there won't be. But that I have a complete full backup of my C drive, so if that NVMe goes wonky, which I don't see that it will, but
nobody ever
it's
sees
just,
it coming.
Again, once a month, peace of mind, boom, it sits here for the rest of the month, and I only do it.
It sits there, but it's not plugged in.
But it's not plugged in.
Right. And here's the thing. You have how many computers?
I've got 5.
Do you back them all up?
Yes.
And do you back them all up to the same 5 terabyte drive?
No.
Okay, that's the other good thing. It's good to have at least 2 backup drives, that you rotate them. So you have a backup, and then you have your previous backup. And then every backup, switch them, keep them rotating. And ideally, keep it away from the computer, because if, say I come over to your house to visit, and that happens to accidentally fall into my coat pocket when I'm there, you don't have a backup anymore. There's a lot of reasons people lose their data. It's not just viruses.
Well, I do, because I backed up the full backup to the cloud, but we won't go into that.
Well, and Acronis offers the cloud storage too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Be slow, but it's there, and it's still cheaper and faster than data recovery.
Like Carrie says, you always want to have at least one full backup off-site is the thing.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Right? So any backup is better than no backup. But the perfect or ideal backup will be one on-site for speed. Like you accidentally deleted a file, or you're recovering from a virus infection.
Right.
And then one off-site, which means either in the cloud or physically take the drive and take it to another building, a friend or whatever. So if anything happens at the building, a fire, a theft, a flood, whatever it is, you didn't see it coming. Right? And then you still have that back. So even though it may not be the most recent backup, maybe you lose a month of data, right? It depends how much work you want to put into updating it. Well, that's the advantage of the cloud. You can keep that constantly updated, and it's out of the building at the same time. It just takes a little bit more time for most of us that don't have, gigabit up and stuff like that. However, once that first initial backup is done, anything it's going to back up following that or just be changes. And that's much, much faster. And then, of course, recovering that's going to take more time, but it's still faster and cheaper than data recovery. So you want your local backup, you want an offsite backup, and if you really want to be thorough, you make sure your backups are encrypted in case they were to fall into the wrong hands. Like if that drive you use were to fall into my pocket, you can put a password protection on that with Acronis. You can make sure that file stays locked, and you put it in the cloud, and you put it in another building.
That's going, again,
it depends how important your data is. If you have my job and you get the crying, inconsolable customer. Pictures of my grandbaby, they're the only ones I have. And the grandbaby's 28 years old now. You know, I can't get those pictures again. We went on vacation, a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's the only copy of the photos. We didn't know.
Right.
We're never going to go on that trip again. And even if we did, we're not going to experience the same things. This is devastating. So you've got to evolve. You've got to decide for yourself.
How important is your information?
Yeah, what's it worth to you? How much are you willing to spend and how much effort are you willing to put into your backups? Because I promise you, nobody cares about your stuff more than you do. And if you can't be bothered, other people will be glad to help you for a very expensive price. Data recovery at $300 data recovery, that's the cheapest I've ever seen. It's usually right around $1,200 and goes up from there. So to start at $300, that's unheard of. In any event, be sure and check out Acronis. There's links in the video notes to the original build video that Mitch and I did back in almost 2 years.
Yeah, March of 2019. Frankie B says, Mitch, love the Toto shirt. Of course, Frankie, this is only one of 42 shirts, and I vowed I would never buy another one, but I went on site or online and I saw one that I simply have to have. So I went against my own rule. So Lucky 43 is coming, and that's the capper. No more. 43 is more than enough shirts.
We've got it recorded now that you said no more.
I wish I wouldn't have said it. So
good to see you, Frankie. Frankie's a good friend of the channel here, and my thanks to everybody watching. Again, in the video notes below this video, a lot of people don't know how to use the video notes. If you want to support the channel, there's a PayPal link. If you PayPal $20 or more, I'll send you a case badge, or I'll offer to. There's a way to offer Amazon gift cards, which is great because Amazon won't take any percentage of your contribution, and I'm only going to spend it at Amazon anyway. Most of the parts that I use in my builds I'm sourcing those parts from Amazon, and that includes the microphone and the tripod and the camera. Well, actually, the cameras came from B&H Photo.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, Amazon does sell them. So links for that are in the video notes, as well as the information about Acronis, which is reiterated there. And what else is in there? The original build video.
Amazon gift cards.
I got that covered. Mm-hmm. If you use the Amazon links to any, like it'll say if you regularly shop at Amazon and you use my Amazon link, it doesn't cost you anything, but I make a small commission off whatever you buy. So you're still going to pay the same price, get the same shipping. Everything is the same for you, but I get a small commission off of most items. And if everybody did that, those little tiny things would add up to be something substantial, you know. And look, it's just another way to show support. You can also share my videos on your social media platforms or forums like Reddit, InstaSnap and Facegram, all of those. It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what the kids use today?
Kids? Oh, something we're not. Yeah. Okay.
TikTok,
right.
FriendFace.
Yeah.
Friendster, right? Friendster and MySpace. Is that what your kids are using? Yeah. Anyway, post those links there. That, of course, gets more attention to the channel, gets some more viewers, and we can help grow this community. We have an amazing community here. See my friends, let's see, Zero Core's in there, Tony Wallow, Stan Haristov, and the Bicycle Lady. Of course, Irving T mentions the Computer Quick Tips channel. Why are you guys not subscribed to the Quick Tips channel? Because you like me to go on for an hour and a half over a 5-minute subject? You can just watch the 5-minute subject over on my Quick Tips. I do actually have 5-minute videos. Go to Quick Tips, subscribe, check it out. Yeah. It's free. What else? Oh, the Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 Optimizer and the Windows 10 Netfix tool. These are tools I developed with collaboration with Nick Shaw over at d7xtech.com. These are tools I use in my business. They're designed to solve issues and to make consistency. That's the issue, is me not being consistent with how I optimize systems and how I fix peer-to-peer networking problems. And doing everything by hand is very time consuming, and then I forget, did I do this already or did I not do this? There's no magic in these tools. Everything these tools do, you can do by hand if you want to. It's just that these tools will do in seconds what will take a human being upwards of over an hour to do if you were to do everything by hand and double check it and then take notes along the way so you don't. Anyway, they're cheap. It's another way to show support for the channel, and they're very useful tools. Well, they are for me anyway. What else you got?
I think that's it. With any luck, we can just make happy hour. And so thanks for everyone for tuning in. And I don't know when Kerry's going to go live next. It certainly won't be, it will not be with me. So he'll be.
How do you know that?
I don't know. He'll be swinging solo again. I don't know what he's got cooking here over the next 2 days of the week. And but believe me, we've got some interesting builds coming up that I will love to be a part of and offer close-ups. And yeah. So just
Linda Hudson joins us in the chat. She says hello.
yeah.
Irving says greetings from Marseille.
Ah,
Is that how you say that? Marseille?
works for me.
Merci.
Yeah.
Merci, Marseille. Marcel. And my thanks to all my friends in the chat. If I didn't mention you by name, don't take it personally. There's Danielle Emberly and the Bicycle Lady and Linda Hudson, Tina McLaughlin. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
Well, you must be like the.
Good luck charm.
You're the eye candy for the channel. Look at all the ladies showing up.
Orlando, nice shirt, Mitch. Okay. I'll have to pull out one of the
And
40,
Donna Hall. Look, all
40
these
others.
ladies coming out of the woodwork when you're on the channel. Where are they when I'm here by myself?
It's my rustic good looks.
Rustic?
But thanks, guys, for tuning in. And
Yes, thank you all. And a happy Veterans Day. Thanks to all of our veterans.
Thank
and
you so much.
Thank you
veterans,
for your sacrifice.
and your service. Otherwise we wouldn't live what I consider the greatest country in the world, the freest country in the world. So thank you, veterans, all, for your service.
Absolutely.
And, we'll see you next time. Yeah.
All right. Well, on behalf of Mitch and myself, I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you all again very, very soon. I'm looking for an outro and I haven't found it, so I'm stalling for time. Oh, there's the class. We'll just do that one. All right, guys. We'll see you all again soon. Happy Veterans Day. Thanks to